Hello everyone. I am making this video to clear some things up. When I first started this channel, I basically kind of lied a bit. I was saying that I was deaf. DEAF. What I actually meant was hard of hearing. But as you can see in most of my shorts, I say deaf/hard of hearing, as I like to use the term deaf instead of hard of hearing, because it's a lot to say that multiple times in a row. But I also use lowercase d, EAF. And for those of you that don't know, capital D is often used for majority hearing loss, while lowercase d is used for the overarching spectrum of mild to moderate. And it's a lot easier to put deaf than hard of hearing in titles. And a lot of times I use capital H, O, capital H for hard of hearing. But another problem with that is not a lot of people know what that means. So I just try to, as it has been pointed out to me multiple times, and I have explained my side, I am not trying to convince anyone that I am more deaf than I am. I've been actually very open with my deafness. And I always try to tiptoe around that because I know I'm not fully deaf. I'm only really mild and do have a lisp from it, and it caused me behavioral issues when I was younger. But I'm not trying to convince you guys that I am more deaf. I guess I really only do it for views, because YouTube really likes it and people like it when you say that you are deaf or have a more severe disability than just saying, "Hi, I'm hard of hearing." That doesn't translate as well for videos. I'm sorry, it just doesn't. I'm not trying to defend it but I'm also not saying that I'm in the wrong, if you kind of get what I'm saying. I personally am just trying to be a creator at the end of the day. And whether that is I'm trying to be a little bit more theatric by putting deaf in the title. I'm not putting capital deaf, as in the term that someone would use. In fact, I can look it up right now. Between deaf and deaf. Okay. Deaf, capital D, refers to individuals who are part of the deaf community, often using sign language. Deaf, lowercase d, is the medical condition of hearing loss, limited hearing, and is used in clinical settings. I use lowercase d because that is the clinical and medical term for hearing loss. I don't try to use capital D because I am not because I don't use sign language, really at all. I know some of it, but it's also a cultural thing. I was born this way, so I feel like I have a connection with others that were born with hearing loss because I can sympathize just a little bit. I don't know what it's fully like to have total hearing loss or most hearing loss. But I understand the struggles of struggling to hear others, struggling to focus. Tinnitus. I deal with tinnitus sometimes. It's minor, but I still deal with it. What I'm just trying to say is I often try to upplay my own disability just because it gets better retention. But also, that's only for titles and thumbnails. For the actual videos, I often do explain my actual condition. So let me tell you the story. I was born with a cholesteatoma, probably due to something my mother did. What I'm saying is, she drank, she smoked, it could cause birth defects. I'm not saying that was the cause. What I'm saying is, I had a cholesteatoma and it wasn't found out till a couple months after my birth, because I wasn't responding to verbal or sound cues. They looked, my eardrum was being crushed. So they had to basically reconstruct my ear and my eardrum, and it's still not perfect. It never has been. But if they didn't do that, then I would have more severe hearing loss in my left ear. And I'm glad that I don't, but also it's just become such a central part of me because it's who I am, and I know a lot of people don't speak up about their disabilities or, well, the trouble it caused me in school. That's what I truly want to do. I want to help those that are like me, not even being deaf in general, just those that have a trouble paying attention, focusing, doing schoolwork, trying to get through the first early stages of school so they can kind of adapt to it with help and support. And oftentimes they don't get that when they're thrown right into it, like I was. Even with an IEP, I wasn't getting the help I was supposed to. I had an IEP for a year for my speech impediment. So I was with a speech pathologist 1 day a week. And then, of course, I got breaks because I had some behavioral issues where I needed to cool down for 5 minutes. I was technically, even though I wouldn't think of myself as it, I was a SPED kid. I was a weirdo. I was the person other kids didn't want to hang out with. And then, right after middle school, the summer before high school, I got this. This is my hearing aid. I wear it not as often as I should, I admit that. During school, I wear it. But since I haven't been in school for a little bit, I, of course, haven't really worn it because the truth is, medical devices are uncomfortable. That's the truth to it. And oftentimes, I like to have it during school because there's something to listen to. Something important. At home, I'm in front of a computer. At home, I'm in front of my TV or my phone or talking with someone close to me that is right there. I don't need a hearing device to hear that. But during school, I do because oftentimes they are 6 feet or more in front of me, where it could be a little bit more, or like the environment's loud, or whatever. Those are things that I do need to hear. But I'm just trying to make this video to clear up any misconceptions about me being deaf, or hard of hearing if you truly do prefer, and I've asked this before. I use terms interchangeably, I shouldn't, but whenever I use deaf, I always mean lowercase d. I always have it specifically lowercase d in my titles to describe the medical condition of hearing loss. And I don't even know where to go from here. I'm being so open right now because I'm kind of apologizing, but I'm not, because I truly feel like I don't have much to apologize for. Because the deaf community, especially those in it, have already made the distinction between uppercase and lowercase d for deaf. And how I see it, capital D refers to the culture and the embodiment of what most people think deaf truly means. But for the majority of people that are deaf, or lowercase d deaf, they are, in fact, hard of hearing to varying degrees. Now, I never made this channel to try to, I guess, garner support for a condition. Because at the end of the day, I don't need support. I don't need support for me being deaf. I don't want your pity. Because at the end of the day, that's not what I made this channel for. I made this channel, well, first of all, to kind of build a brand. at least that's what it's turned into, is first and foremost, this is my brand. This is what I eventually want to turn into a, not media company, but an education company slash eventually school for the disabled or special needs or what have you. And second, I do it because it's a way to express myself. It's something that I enjoy doing on the regular. I enjoy making videos. And while at times I do hesitate to make some videos, I have scrapped many because I know I would get negative feedback from them. One thing that I don't do is kind of get rid of shorts, though. Because those are quick, easy videos that I batch record on the regular. Just so I have something out there, and that is what the majority of my subscribers are from. And that is what made me make this video. But I just wanted to clear up any misconceptions that people might have, especially since, I'm trying to look at the commenter, Lissy, I hope I'm saying your name right, Lissy Baby Bop. Wild name. But they commented 3 times. How's the job going? If you didn't know, I was employed, like, I want to say a month or 2 ago, or a month and a half ago. And that was basically me getting a job at a fast food company. Wasn't for me, terrible work environment, danger, I burned my hand doing dishes because I was told to... I wasn't basically told to wear gloves or whatever, even though I should have. So it just wasn't safe for me, and it just wasn't the environment that I really should work in. Second was basically the garner of this video. Basically saying deaf and hard of hearing are completely different things. When they're really... The terms, yes, but also no. Deaf, and they go on, because I'm not trying to assume anything. Deaf is completely different. Not all people that have a lisp are hard of hearing either. I never said that. I said that I have a lisp because of my disability. And after seeing your prior videos, I feel you are making yourself look like a fraud and a liar. Get it together or get your story straight. I have. And you've said that you've watched my... This isn't an attack. I already explained things in a comment. But I've made it very known, and I just want to use this video to make it more known, that when I say that I am deaf or hard of hearing, I truly mean that is my first and foremost disability that I have that has affected the majority of my life, all basically 18 years that I have been on this earth. I have been affected by it. Whether that is just hearing in general, behavior-wise, ridicule, there it goes again, ridicule, I almost said ridicule, that wouldn't have been right. I've been made fun of for my lisp. I have been made fun of because I can't hear properly, and while some of them may be in good taste, or just jokes, a lot of them make me feel sad and mad, because they ask me questions, and I answer thinking it's something completely different, when it's not, and then I try to take it back and use my hearing, and they don't believe me, yada yada yada. So, I'm not trying to portray myself as anything other than who I am, and I hope that this video clears that up. This was very rushed and very just something that I decided to make just right here, right now. So, thank you for watching. I hope that this helps clear some things up. Thank you for watching. Did I mention my phone kind of sucks at recording? Because sometimes it's finicky.